what's up, everybody? Welcome to the TNR Sports Show. We are back, and we're back, and we're back, and we're back. I needed last week off. I needed a mental break. A mental break. Ryan, a mental break.
We all need a mental break sometimes. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it was me that weekend. That week. Last week was terrible. It maybe goes down as one of the worst weeks ever of all time ever.
Okay. I don't know about that,
I'm
but
just kidding. But it was a rough week for me. I just couldn't do it mentally. I needed to just take some time, watch some dumb TV shows. I don't know, just relax, drink some Mai Tais on the beach. I didn't do that, but that would have been nice.
that was very
Um,
cold.
yeah, I would have been freezing as the ocean froze around me. No, but I just needed a little break. We're back though. We're gonna do an NFL video now, and then on Friday you'll get an NFL video with a college video, so it'd be both. So just be on the lookout for that. We're so back. We're so back. We're so back. There's no way I
Okay.
could come back after that crazy NFL performance. What a weekend. And I can
Yeah.
sit here confidently and say that Sunday's games were so great. They make Saturday's games, which were also great, look bad. And it's crazy to think. Both were high score. Though Sunday was the opposite. Sunday was score, score, score. And then Saturday was defense, defense, defense.
Yeah.
So it was a nice switch up.
Would you say that it was probably the best weekend in NFL football
History.
in our lifetime, at least? I don't know. Maybe history. I don't
It's
know.
hard to say. Every game except for the Chiefs one was decided by 3 points or decided by a game-winning
And
field
that was
goal,
overtime.
and then
Yeah.
that one was decided by overtime, which is probably even better. Um, I would say I've seen a lot of good football this year. I mean, people could say what they want about the football games that we've gotten this year. There have been some bangers. That one last night, Kansas City, Buffalo, was very good. I thoroughly enjoyed another one I can throw out, Bedlam. Sorry. That was a good football game, whether Ryan agrees with the calls or anything. Another one, good one was Arkansas Ole Miss. See, I'm doing it to myself. That was a great
Okay.
football game. Oklahoma State Baylor was another good one. Um, Alabama Texas A&M. That was always fun to see Alabama lose. There have been a lot of good games. Clemson South Carolina was a fantastic game. Many people have told me that.
Fantastic.
Yeah, it was a good one. That was a shot right there. Whatever. I'm
Oklahoma,
not ashamed of
um,
it.
Oklahoma, Texas was a great one too.
Yeah, there you go. And
It's
there have
fun.
been other NFL games. I just can't remember them all. I just think there is no doubt in my mind that we got the best two NFL games yesterday on Sunday. We're recording this on Monday. It's coming out on Tuesday. Um, that we've gotten all year by far. I think that was just
Yeah.
as good as it gets. It honestly it doesn't get any better than yesterday. I mean, football as a sport was on its level yesterday. And there's a couple things I want to. We'll get to Sunday. Sunday is where the big money happens. So stay tuned for the Sunday matchups. We're gonna get to it. We're gonna go in order. I want to go in order. So we're gonna start with Ryan. He's got the jersey on. Not congratulated. Um,
Yeah.
what was the word? I gave credence to the fact that he actually wore that jersey. That's a big word. To the fact that he actually wore that jersey. So Cincinnati won the game 19-16. Two talking points here. I don't really want to recap them. You know what happened. Watch them. Two talking points. Number one, Titans. What are you doing, baby? Ryan Tannehill is a bum.
Sharp.
He's not good. So it
Not
kind
good.
of makes you wonder if the Tennessee Titans are going to start looking for a quarterback. This is the quarterback year. So if there's ever been a time to have a bunch of quarterbacks, go to your team. Now's the time. Pittsburgh, is looking for Aaron Rodgers and Russell Wilson, and there's sure that Deshaun Watson. I'm sure plenty of those people. You know, if there was ever a place for that guy, Deshaun Watson, to go, Tennessee might be it. You know what I mean? A line, it's big, but it's just Tennessee, so nobody's gonna be like, oh my god. You know what I mean? If he goes to Miami, it's gonna be like, oh my god. But if he goes
That's true.
to Nashville, people are like, eh. Anyway,
Yeah.
regardless, Ryan Tannehill was not good. I thought some of the play calls were questionable. Derrick Henry, what were you doing? You got Derrick Henry. Run that guy into the friggin' ground, dude.
I
I
mean,
just
it's
think
true.
I don't know. I just thought a lot of Tennessee's play calls were questionable. What do you think?
I mean, I think you could say it all year. I mean, Tennessee's offensive coordinator, his entire plan is run the ball, and then Ryan Tannehill plays as like a game manager. That's
Oh
that's
my
been their
god.
game all year. especially when Derrick Henry was healthy. Ryan Tannehill had a horrible game. He he had his best year last year. He threw for 33 touchdowns instead of interceptions. This year, he has not been very good.
He had one
Uh,
touchdown, 3 interceptions yesterday.
yeah, one
15 to
touchdown, three
24
interceptions.
and 220
Um,
yard passing.
he just wasn't good. I mean, when you're in those situations, you need a quarterback, and we saw that with, and we'll get to it. Kansas and the Rams, and even the Bucks, when crap hit the fan, they had a quarterback to make the plays to win the game. Titans did not have that, and they lost. Derrick Henry, I mean, probably should have read him more. I get it. This is his first game in like what
So
two?
here's a little interesting. I'm looking at the stats right now just to see kind of Deontay Foreman, who was the backup, I believe, to Derrick
Yeah,
Henry, had
backup.
more rushing yards than Derrick Henry.
Mhm.
So Derrick Henry had 20 carries, 20. Deontay Foreman had 4. And he had 66 yards over Derrick Henry's. I know, I get it. And Derrick Henry hadn't played, and he's this great quarterback, yada yada yada, or a great running back. But sometimes I wonder if you should just stay with the guy that kind of was moving and grooving. Deontay Foreman was. I mean, he had more rushing yards than Derrick Henry did, and he only had 4 carries in the whole game.
Yeah, and
I just
Foreman
think
can
it's kind of
the
nuts
ball.
to abandon you. Tennessee's got 2 good running backs. Deontay Foreman is obviously not a bad running back.
No, he's good.
And he kind of carried you to that point. He carried Tannehill, what a scumbag he is, to that point, and they just couldn't get it done. So I don't know. I think Ryan Tannehill just not as good as we thought, or not. Well, he's actually what we thought. Actually, I think is the more
Yeah, I
way of
mean,
putting it.
obviously, being in Tennessee has been the best years in Tannehill's career. Just saying a whole lot, honestly, because he was
Yeah, he was
horrible at
bad
Miami.
in Miami.
Um, I mean, I was when they traded, or yeah, when they traded, I can't remember if they traded or released Mariota. I was kind of shocked.
I think they
Mariota,
released. I believe he went to the
I think
Raiders.
yeah, something like that. But Mariota never had a. I think he had one bad year stat wise, but it wasn't even his last year. I would have kept Marcus Mariota. I think he's better than Tannehill, but
Yeah, I
I
don't think
think
the new coaching staff gave Mariota much of a shot.
no. I
They
think
kind of had
they're
Tannehill as their guy.
yeah. I mean, it's unfortunate. The Bengals had a better quarterback who could make the plays
Woof.
and the shot to win the game with the field
That's for
goal.
sure.
Titans didn't have that. That's the missing piece. You have the receivers. The defense was
You definitely
amazing. They
got the
had
receivers. You
10
have 2 great
sacks.
receivers.
Yeah, you had 10 sacks and like 8 tackles for loss
And
against
they
the
still
Bengals.
lost
That's
the game. That's
incredible.
crazy.
It's incredible. You need a
I think
quarterback.
quarterback, yeah. I mean, you look at yesterday, right? So if you look, I hate to keep, we're going to come to it, Kansas City, Buffalo, quarterback phenomenal game, right? You give Ryan Tannehill, not even the Patrick Mahomes drive, because I don't think hardly nobody can move the ball in 13 seconds like that. Um, if you give him the 1 minute Josh Allen touchdown drive, he couldn't do it. He's not able to compete against those. There's only a myriad of teams in this whole league that can compete yesterday with what we saw on the field. And I hate people are going to say there's a handful of quarterbacks that could do it. Aaron Rodgers is probably one of them, probably. Tom Brady, maybe he's kind of old now, kind of fart. Russell Wilson probably could. Deshaun Watson, I think could. He's say what you want about the guy, he's scumbag for sure, but good quarterback.
Talented.
Um, you
Talented
know,
scumbag.
yeah, he's a very talented scumbag. That's right. That's a good way of putting it. But there's a lot of things, you look at that game and let's say Tennessee wins and you've got to go against Josh Allen or Patty Mahomes. In the quarterback rating, they're going to wipe you out. It's not
Yeah.
even competitive.
No.
And you still have, and the crazy thing is Tennessee has 2 amazing wide receivers, AJ Brown and Julio Jones. And they still couldn't do anything about it.
I don't think Julio Jones caught a touchdown all season.
He caught one. That was the one that was overturned by the NFL, and then they came out and was like, "It's a touchdown." Yeah, that was like early in the season, though. Is that Julio Jones's fault or is that Antonio Brown's fault? I mean, not Antonio Brown. Well, it
It's
might be
Antonio
Antonio.
Brown's fault. It's
No,
all his fault.
yeah, or is that Ryan Tannehill's fault, man?
I think it's a mixture. And Tannehill was not very good this year, but at the same time, AJ Brown had a pretty good year. I think he had over 1,000
He
receiving
was hurt a
yards.
good bit, but when he played, he was effective.
Yeah, I think it was a mixture of both. I don't think Julio had that great year, but at the same time, I don't think Tannehill did him any favors.
All right. Well, moving off of that, let's move on to the other topic from that game. I hate to talk about this. It just makes me mad thinking about it. Joe Burrow was pretty good at playing football. I hate to admit that. I hate it. It disgusts me. I think it just brings a sour taste in my mouth when I have to mention it. But he's not bad. That's for certain. Overall, his performance was, first of all, what? He got sacked how many times? 9, 10?
10 times with 8 tackles for losses. Along with that,
And it's crazy
you
how.
how do you lose that?
Oh yeah, Ryan Tannehill said Joe Burrow's your quarterback. Joe Burrow just made the plays. Bengals, they won't beat Kansas City. People will say maybe they have a shot. I just don't think they stand a chance. I think the crowd and the moment, it'll be too much. I honestly wouldn't be surprised if Kansas City blows them out. If you're looking for a really good NFC get, the NFC title game is going to be much better, I think. But regardless of that, I think the Chiefs are going to handle business with Cincinnati. But they've got some good little players on that team, I'd say. They got T. Higgins, Joe Burrow. The running back's not bad. I don't even remember their running back's name.
Joe Mixon.
Joe Mixon has really
Osuna.
Joe Mixon has come on the scene. He had 54 yards and a touchdown yesterday. Who's it? Jamar
Boomer.
Chase. That's the one.
Yeah,
Um,
Jamar Chase.
he's not too bad. I tell you what. Joe Burrow's not perfect. He threw an interception yesterday. He didn't have any touchdowns. They scored majority of their touchdowns. It looks like through um, Joe Mixon scored one and Jamar Chase scored one. So that's where the majority of their points came from. I just think overall, Joe Burrow is going to have a bright future in the NFL. He's going to enter that upper echelon of quarterbacks. And I think Cincinnati is going to be a player in the game for a little while. As much sad as that makes me.
Yeah.
But I think he's very good. Any last thoughts about Joe Burrow?
Yeah,
You
I
don't
mean, he's
want to
doing
talk
it.
about?
I mean, I think he's one of the better rising quarterbacks out there. And he's won what, 2 playoff games now?
That's more than the
Um,
Cincinnati Bengals had since 1990.
very impressive. I mean, I think they have a shot in the next game. Again, I don't think they're going to win it,
I don't think
but
so. I just think it'll be too much. It'll be too
good
big
job,
of a bubble.
Cincinnati. I mean, good
Yeah,
job.
you did it. I think they had an easier road. I
Oh, for
definitely
sure.
think that.
For sure. The
Tennessee,
Titans are
no
not.
offense. And
Like
then
I even said,
Oakland.
I told Trent before the game, Titans are losing. I told him. I said the Titans are going to lose this game. I promise you. No
They
matter who.
definitely, if they didn't lose last game, they were definitely losing this week.
Yeah, I even said before the Bengals were even announced as the playoff competition. I said the Titans are losing the game. I was right,
Yeah,
unfortunately.
there you go. All right, there you go. Cincinnati, Tennessee. Let's go to the next barn burner of a football game, a defensive struggle. The San Francisco 49ers versus the Green Bay Packers. Aaron Rodgers' kryptonite is the San Francisco 49ers. Aaron Rodgers has lost to the San Francisco 49ers 4 times in a row in the playoffs. In the playoffs. Not in the regular season, in the playoffs. Isn't that crazy? Is Aaron Rodgers overrated?
Not in the regular season, but in the playoffs, 100%. He had one good year in the playoffs, and ever since then he's been garbage.
Had to be the 1 year
I think
Pittsburgh
he's
played him.
won the NFC that one time.
Yeah, they hadn't been back to the Super Bowl. That was the only one time.
Yeah, that's horrible. I mean, come on. You're supposed to be. I saw something the other day. It was like, the Packers have had 2 of the greatest quarterbacks of all time, Aaron Rodgers, Brett Favre. And
When it's
you
all
only have
said and
2
done,
Super
they will
Bowls.
only have 2 Super Bowls between them.
That's awful. Aaron
I
Rodgers
mean,
is one of the best quarterbacks out there. And his stats, honestly are a little bit better than Brady's at this point in Brady's career, which is not pretty
it
close.
doesn't mean too much.
Um, I don't know. Packers just can never win in the playoffs. 49ers are killing it. I mean, they beat 2 of the best teams coming into the playoffs in the Packers and the Cowboys.
Yeah, when we say the Cincinnati
Very
had the
impressive.
easiest route, I would say San Francisco has had a hardest route, and they still managed to do pretty
They,
good.
and they still have a harder game. I mean,
Yeah. Well, San Francisco has beaten the Rams 3 times in a row.
it's true, but
Crazy.
it's still a very tough game. The Rams are good.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I saw that first opening drive by the Packers that took them like 10 seconds to go down the field and score, and then you're up 7-0, and you're like, oh man, Green Bay gonna blow them out. And then they don't score a touchdown during the entire game. That's insane. How's that even possible? I half of me thinks Aaron Rodgers was like, oh, I hate this organization. I hate this franchise. I hate playing in the cold. I'm leaving. It doesn't matter. I think he leaves. I do think that. I don't think he's gone. He's going to demand a trade, and he's going to
I
be
think so
gone.
too.
And it's going to be the
Yeah.
end of the Aaron Rodgers era. And the Green Bay Packers have only won 2 Super Bowls between the 2 great quarterbacks that they've had. And that'll be really something for people to discuss. Also, another good point I heard today is every year, I feel like we always say, the path to the Super Bowl goes through Lambeau Field. And it doesn't. It just doesn't. Lambeau
No.
Field sucks. Packers suck. I remember last year, you probably don't remember this. Me and you and Abijah, my good buddy Abijah, many people know him, went out to a bar to hang out with some of my friends. We are all hanging out at a bar or whatever. And we watched the Packers lose to somebody. Was it the 49ers again last year? I can't even remember.
I don't remember who they lost to last year, honestly.
I think it was the Rams. No, it couldn't have been the Rams. I don't remember
No.
who it was, but they lost somebody, and they just have a tendency to lose. I called that. I called that from a mile away. I knew they were going to lose. They just like losing in the second round of the playoffs. They love it. They don't even like
Tampa.
making it. Tampa, yeah, it was Tampa last year that Tom Brady had to go through them. They just don't stand a chance, man. Not a chance in heck. They just, I don't know. Aaron Rodgers can't get it done in the playoffs. Or, and there, you could say there's a lot of factors to that. There's a lot of like, you look at like, did he have enough wide receivers? He only had really one good wide receiver in Devontae Adams. The running backs are kind of bad. Their defense was obviously improved. Now the 49ers offense is like, eh. But Jimmy
I mean, you come
Garoppolo.
in with the best
And then
record in
there's
the.
Debo Samuel. He's a good force. So
I
you
mean, you
can't
come in
say,
with the best record in the NFL, 13-4. You obviously have a good enough team to win. You have the best record in the NFL. You are technically the best team in football because of that, and you can't be
yeah, they couldn't. They
at
couldn't. They
home.
really couldn't.
You can beat the
It's
Niners at home.
startling. I don't know. What are you going to do?
I mean, like I look
Um,
at the Niners. I don't know who. I mean, their running back's not that great.
Debo Samuel.
People saying he's not their running back.
Yeah, I know. Oh, is he?
I mean, yeah, people
um,
say he's fantastic.
one
He is
last
fantastic.
shot. My last shot of the video, probably. We'll see. Will Muschamp should never get another coaching job for the way he misused one of the greatest NFL players, maybe of all time, Debo Samuel.
I don't know
NFL
about
should
all time, but
Will Muschamp should be locked in the dungeon, fed only bones for the rest of his days for how misused that guy was because he was misused because he's very good. Also, Arkansas has a linebacker on that team, Drake Greenlaw, pretty good. That's my 2 shots I want to take there. We can move on from that game. That game sucked. All right, here you go. Your 2 barn burners. All right, you got the Rams and the Buccaneers. The Rams and the Buccaneers. Um, the Rams wanted to lose this game, if you ask me. They wanted to lose. They fumbled 4 times in the game. 4 times. They wanted to lose so bad, but they didn't. And then Matthew Stafford, the greatest Georgia quarterback of all time, Matthew Stafford. Who am I? Who's better? Who's better? Exactly.
oh,
Matthew Stafford, the greatest Georgia quarterback of
I
all
agree with
time.
you there.
Um, manages to hit Cooper Cup on that long pass to set up the game winning field goal. They did everything they could. You just knew, I knew it, man. I was sitting there watching that game, and that dude in the second quarter hit Tom Brady in the head and got his lip all cut up. And I just knew, I was like, oh God, they're coming back. I don't know when it's going to happen, but it's going to happen at some point. Tom Brady's going to get so mad. He's going to force his team. He's going to will his team back. They're saying he might not come back. I don't think it's possible. I think he probably comes back for one more.
I think he'll come back for one more year.
I think
But
it's
yeah,
one
it was a
more.
crazy game. Almost mirrored the Super Bowl a few years ago when the Bucks played the Falcons, or not the Bucks, sorry, the
Yeah, the
Patriots.
Patriots, 28-3.
Um,
It was 27-3 at one point.
yeah, I know. With 7 minutes to go in the third in both
Oh
games.
my God.
But yeah, I mean the Rams almost blew it. They kept it together. Again, great quarterback play. Won the game with a good kicker. I mean, everyone has good kickers
Yeah,
in
the
the end.
quarterback play in the two games yesterday were just something else.
Yeah.
We'll get to that one. I'm excited to get to that. Was my favorite. That was just a freaking great game. But yeah, the quarterback play in that. I mean, Tom Brady. I mean, he's good. He's not as good as he once was. I think we all know it. We all see it.
I don't
Tampa
know about
Bay's
that.
got a
He has
good
the best
defense, man.
quarterback stats in the NFL.
Oh, I don't know, man. He's just not the same. Anybody who can watch him just
Yeah, the
knows
best
exactly.
quarterback stats in the NFL.
Oh my God, I'm just saying he didn't look that great yesterday.
Okay, he didn't look great yesterday, but he's the best quarterback in the NFL at 43 or 44,
I think
whatever
he's
his age is.
43.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't like Tom. I mean, I like him more in
I
Tampa
don't
Bay.
blame you for
I
not
think he's.
liking him, but he's
I
still the
think he's
best.
more of like a.
I don't like him either.
I think he's more of a Florida guy now. You know what I mean? When I feel like he was in New England, it was like I'm Tom Brady. Now it's like, yeah, I'm Tom Brady. You know what I mean? There's a difference.
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah, but I like Matthew Stafford. I thought overall that game was fun. Um, that pass to Cooper Cup. Is he the best wide receiver in the NFL?
Right now? Oh, for sure.
So the argument, the only other one, there's one other option in my opinion. What you could argue is Tyreek Hill.
I don't know. This
Yeah, it
past
makes you
season,
think, huh? Say
this
what?
past season that Cooper Cup's had,
He
this
leads. He leads the wide receivers in like every category.
yeah, this year Cooper Cup is the best.
Yeah.
But Stafford's had
Overall,
to
though.
rely on Cooper. If it
Yeah.
wasn't for Cooper Cup, Stafford's stats dipped considerably.
Oh yeah, and they lost somebody. They lost somebody in the beginning of the year. The Rams
Robert
did.
Woods. They lost Robert Woods, and then they traded for Odell.
Yeah. Okay. Odell
Love
Beckham
that.
had a good game. Turns out
Yeah, he's really good.
he's not the team destroyer we all thought he was. Team destroyer is Antonio Brown. What a scumbag he is. Did you see that meme he posted on Twitter yesterday?
I did, yeah.
God, he's the worst. He is the worst. I hope he never signs another. He's a locker room killer, straight killer. Him and Le'Veon Bell. Blech. Um, but yeah, I don't know, man. You look at that whole thing, and I just look at that season. I mean that game, and I look at the way the Rams wanted to lose. I mean, good for Matthew Stafford. You can say what you want about Matthew Stafford, and I saw people. Oh goodness, I saw. I lost my thing. Saw people trying to blame. Can you hear me?
I can hear you, yeah.
I saw people trying to blame the season on him and what happened, but I just don't think it's possible for them to actually have to blame Matthew Stafford. We're having a little technical difficulties right here.
No, I don't think you can blame. I mean, Matthew Stafford has had games where he just kind of dropped the ball,
This was
but
not one of them.
no, this was not one of them. But he's also has some incredible. I think he has over 40 touchdowns. That's fantastic. You know what I
I mean,
mean?
he's had a good year. People carry that stigma. It was like, oh man, it's Matthew Stafford played with the Lions and they suck. He sucks. Um, you expect a quarterback who has a winning record against winning teams of like, it wasn't like, okay, in the middle of the season, I'm not lying about this either. It was 9-69 at some point in the season. I don't think it is now. That's awesome. That sucks, dude. That's insane. Against teams with a winning record, Matthew Stafford was 9-69 at some point in the season. That's insane. I mean, you can't blame the guy, for essentially being a
It's
Detroit
Detroit.
Lion. Yeah, I mean, they don't do nothing for you. I mean, he had Megatron for a couple years there, but they were
Yeah, he went
bad
to
for
the
so many
playoffs
years.
with that, but that was it.
I mean, you could say, yeah, and Matthew Stafford now. Look at Matthew Stafford now. I mean, he went to that one playoff game with Detroit when they lost to the Saints all those years ago, and now he's won two playoff games, one on the road, and in a very hostile environment in Florida when they really pack out the stadium. So, I was just impressed with the overall game plan by the Rams. Tampa Bay tried to claw their way back, but couldn't do it.
Yeah.
What are you going
It
to do?
was a fantastic game. Stafford
It
won
was
it in
good.
the end with Matt Gay, and so
Yeah,
good
there
job,
you go.
Rams.
Yeah, there you go, Rams. All right. This is the moment you've all been waiting for. One of the greatest NFL football games I've ever seen. Football games I've seen. The last 2 minutes consisted of like 500 yards between the two quarterbacks and overtime as well. Um, Josh Allen is driving down the field. I believe in my mind, if this is correct, it's 20. What was the final score? I have to remember. I gotta remember
It
how it
was
goes. 42
42
to
to
36
36.
drives. Let me see if there's a drive chart. I think Buffalo's going down the field, and they're going down the field. Oh my God, I keep saying this. Josh Allen is driving down the field Kansas City's up 26-21. They're driving down the field and they find that Davis dude that scored all of their touchdowns in the end zone. They made the guy trip. And Josh Allen throws this perfect pass, and everybody in Buffalo's like, "We've won the game. We did it. We won." And then Patty Mahomes gets on the field, throws two passes, and Tyreek Hill's gone to the house. It's over. And then the Chiefs have the lead. Let me see what it is. The Chiefs had the lead to make it 33-29. Josh Allen gets the ball back again. He drives down the field with 13 seconds left and scores a touchdown and the 2-point conversion. They do all of that, kick the ball back to the Chiefs with 13 seconds left, and Patty Mahomes plays two plays, takes a timeout, and they kick a field goal and go to overtime. And then the NFL flips a coin, and whoever gets the coin toss wins the football game, and it's all over. And the Chiefs won the football game. If you're Josh Allen right now, what are you thinking?
I'd be very upset. Honestly, I think this
I'd be
was one of the
crying.
greatest quarterback duels in football that we've ever seen.
Josh Allen did everything he could to win that game. I saw it Patrick Mahomes. They just,
They both deserve to win this game, if I'm being totally honest.
Yeah, they did.
Offensively, defensively.
I hate Patrick Mahomes.
This is one of the best. I would say this is the best football game we've seen all year. College, pro, high school, whatever. This was the best game. I mean, it's true.
This is the greatest football game, high school football game of all time.
I think that the overtime rules are stupid in the NFL. I think they're stupid in college too. They need to figure it out.
No, I disagree. I love college overtime.
The college overtime rules are way better than the NFL. I 100% give you that. But it's just so stupid. Like you flip a coin, and if you score a touchdown, you win.
You take the greatest aspect of that football game, the quarterbacks, out of it. And I get defense is part of it. But man, I don't know, man.
I think it's different. I think when that rule was first put forth, it was a different game. It was a completely different game.
Yeah, things have changed.
Different, like
those defenses were gassed. I think there's a couple options. If they really wanted to switch up the overtime rules, I think college starts at the 25. If you wanted to switch it up, you could start at the 40 and make it even more difficult. I don't think they'll ever change it like that. Another option was give them a 10-minute half, let them just duke it out. It doesn't matter if a team scores. What the final score at the end of that quarter is what it is.
I think what should happen is you flip a coin. If team 1 scores a touchdown, then team 2 has an opportunity to score a touchdown. If they don't score a touchdown, they lose.
Yeah, it's over. I agree. I think that's smart. I don't know. I just think there's got to be a change. I just think because the problem is, right, you're sitting at home and you're thinking, well, Buffalo's defense just like Kansas City watched down the field. And they did. But the problem was that game is not going to be remembered as this great defensive struggle or the great defensive plays of all time. It's going to be remembered as a quarterback duel. And in the overtime, when you've got the most people watching, what do you remove from the thing? A quarterback duel. Every NFL's the worst overtime extra thing. Everybody gets an opportunity in all sports ever. They all get an opportunity. You look at every sport, soccer across the pond, soccer in Europe. What happens if you go into overtime, you are extra time or whatever? Everybody, you just run the timeout, man. You get your little 15 minutes or whatever it is, and you play that 15 minutes. Nobody scored. You play another 15 minutes. You just do it. In the NFL and the Major League Baseball, if you're in over, you go to extra innings. If you're the Braves are playing the Marlins and they go into extra innings tied 1-1, Braves score 2 to become 2-1, and the Marlins don't score, they lose. But if the Marlins score a home run, they win a game. And in basketball, they get an opportunity. Every team gets an opportunity to play. They have an opportunity. It wouldn't be fun if the NBA was like, all right, I'm going to give LeBron James the 3 ball. If he makes a 3, it's over. But if he doesn't, the other team gets to make a 3. That's stupid, man. That's kind of what the NFL's overtime rules. Even college football and high school football is better than that.
Yeah, it's literally just flipping a coin.
It really is, because if whoever got that coin, if it would have been in the favor of Buffalo or Kansas City, they would have won that football game.
If it would have been over. It would have tossed. They would have won that game.
It's true. And, I think it's just something to be said about the NFL overtime rules. It's everybody gets an opportunity except the people on the NFL. And it just doesn't make any sense. And if you don't want to, you want to sit there and you want to be, I don't want to change it. Then don't change it in the regular season, but at least in the playoffs, man, when it matters the most. If you don't want to extend these games any longer in the 17 game schedule you already got, then just change it in the freaking over. And if it's already changed halfway in the playoffs because no one can tie, obviously. So I don't know if you know this, but if they nobody scores in an NFL overtime, playoff overtime, I think they just do it again, and they just do it and do it and do it until somebody
Yeah, until someone
wins.
wins. Yeah.
But at that point, all you have to do is kick a field goal. And the way these NFL kickers, you can line up from the 55 and good luck.
Yeah.
You know, half of them. I mean, Justin Tucker can line up the damn 60 and he can get your damn field goal. So who knows? Yeah, it changes in the NFL. I just think it's crazy that it's so archaic in nature and they won't, it takes away from the performance that was. You know, it's kind of funny though. I mean, the Kansas City Chiefs today are celebrating. They're like, yeah, yeah. But I believe it was 4 years ago that the same rules screwed them in the ass. And the Patriots
Yep.
got to go to the Super Bowl, and the Chiefs had to stay at home because of the overtime rules.
Yep. I remember that.
So, you know, in that same situation, you're sitting there today in Kansas City and you're like, yeah, yeah. But 4 years ago, you're like, no, no. So I think everything's about perspective. You know, I just think it's time for a change. There's a lot of stuff in the NFL I think is insane. Um, First of all, people complain about the officiating, and I get in that Tampa Bay game, it was kind of like, but NFL officiating is so far above college officiating. It's just not even close. They're just so
Yeah.
I get it. College officiating is hard because you got so many refs. You know, it's so much more you have to do, so many more games. I just think it's, you know, in the NFL, they just got it, they've got it going. They have good games, they have good refs. I mean, half the time, what you got 16 groups of refs, you know, because there's 32 teams, 16 games. I just think overall, you know, I just think that overtime's got to change. You know, I've got plenty of gripes about the NFL that the overtime rules have got to change. It's
100%. I mean, it doesn't take away. It was one of the best games,
no, no, not at all.
but
It was
like,
definitely one of the best two. You could probably argue it was the best 2 minutes, which
oh,
actually
for
was
sure.
30 minutes. But you
Well,
know, yeah, it definitely
I
was
agree with
Patrick
that. It's the
Mahomes.
best 2 minutes in football history.
Yeah, oh, I would agree. Yeah, I mean, ever. Yeah, you
Yeah,
know, I
no,
feel bad. This morning, I wake up. I feel bad for Buffalo. I really do. I feel bad for the Bills. You
I
know,
kind of do too.
could you
Josh
imagine
Allen
being a
deserved a
fan of
chance to
that?
at least
Could you
go
imagine
after.
being a fan of Buffalo and sitting there and like,
He is.
don't ever forget the hardest loss. You know what the hardest loss in sports is? Hardest loss when you lose, your team loses in sports, is when your team is getting blowed out and you find a way to make it crawl back. So you've lost all hope and now you've regained all that hope just to have it taken from you in the end. You know, you look at Tampa Bay, had that happen to them. And then, you know, kind of Buffalo in a way because you score with 13 seconds left. There's no way you lose. There's just no way.
Yeah,
And then they find a way.
they find a way.
What are you going to do? All right. Any last thoughts on Patty Mahomes and Josh Allen QB battle?
Not really. I mean, I think Patty Mahomes got a good chance to win ring number two. But
I'm going with the Rams if they win. No, if the 49ers win, I'm going with the freaking.
I hope, I pray we see a Rams Chiefs Super Bowl. I would
Oh,
love
the
that.
colors game. The colors there would just be insane. You
Gosh,
know,
and
it's
the
in.
offense,
It's in. Say what?
the offense too.
Oh yeah, they are. Well, yeah, of
Stafford versus
course.
Mahomes. That'd be great.
Stafford, yes, Matthew Stafford. I'm a big Matthew Stafford fan. I don't know if the Rams will actually. It depends, you know. They got to get over this 49er hump, but if they get over that, you know, I just
They're
49ers is one of
here.
those teams that I'm just like, God, they're not that. Rams are freaking loaded, dude. Loaded. Cooper Cup, Odell Beckham Jr., that cornerback that kind of is bad now. Um,
Ramsey,
Josh Norman. No, Jalen Ramsey. Josh
Jalen Ramsey,
Norman. Lord have mercy.
Von Miller,
Von Miller, Aaron
Donald.
Donald. It's crazy
Aaron
how many
Donald.
like how big names. How do they pay all that money? I guess they're in Los Angeles, so. But it's crazy. So we'll see the Rams take on the Niners. That's the late game, and then the who's the early game again? I don't even remember. Oh my
Huh?
God, it's Kansas City, Cincinnati, three
Yeah.
o'clock on Sunday, and then some 49ers, Cincinnati on Rams. God, I'm all out of my mind right now. Rams, 49ers. So we'll come back with Friday's episode, kind of detailing those games. But for now, this is the end. Ryan, any last thoughts on the NFL?
No, just excited for this upcoming week.
All right, sounds good. All right, everybody. Thank you for watching the TNR Sports Show. Thank you for watching NFL Edition. NFL. NFL. We'll be back Friday. Friday. See you later.